Hey everybody, this is Wildcats Blog again. Nice to see you again. I hope you're enjoying the blogs that I have been blogging. Thank you for all your comments and all your support and love, everything like that. So this blog is about Halloween. As you may see, I am dressed in my Luigi from Super Mario costume. If you want to see it, you can see it. You can see it. Stand up. It's pretty tight on the tooth, but okay. So you see my outfit. um, this is a blog on the origins of Halloween. The actual history of Halloween is very long, so I unfortunately can't cover it, but we can always discuss it in the comments below. I'm always reading the comments, so and I'll reply most likely in a matter of time. I know quite amount of information and detail about the history of Halloween as we know it until up to today. I can show you some fun facts too, but anyways, we'll get to that later. For the origins of Halloween, it came from an ancient European tribe called the Celtics, and the Celtics believed that on November 1st, the calendar or the year begins in this time of day, and that's when fall and winter, the thin line comes between that, and they also believe that it's a thin line or a blur line between the living and the dead. And so what they would do is on October 31st, they will have this festival of Sam, or actually they would call it, it was another name that they called, I said it right. the festival of Sam, and Salem, and with this festival they would do bonfires, they would do dress up in animal heads and animal skins, and what they would try to do, because they believe that at this time of year that the dead or the spirits, all the dimensions of spirits and everything that has passed away in the past comes and it intermingles with the living, and sometimes the dead gets lost in the living world, and sometimes the living gets lost in the dead world. They actually had a superstition that I barely hear it anymore, but there was a superstition that on November 1st, if you hear footsteps behind you while you're walking and you turn around and you don't see anything, then you're the next one to cross over to the other side. That used to be a superstitious thing. I really haven't heard it lately anymore. So that's what one of the things believed. And they had the bonfires, like I said, and this was their beliefs, this is their traditions that they carried on throughout time. I'm talking about this is more than 2,000 years ago. And from that point, the Christians or the church, many years later, because that religion is older than the Christian religion, and so many years later, actually in between, I would say, the pagans picked up on it. The pagans is older than Christianity too, but the pagans picked up on it, and what they would do is they believe the same thing, that the dead walks among the living and they can intermingle, they can possess into a living body and tell futures and fortunes and things like that. And so they also believe that they can be evil spirits that can mess up your crops, and at this time of year is the harvest time. Crops are very important, so they want to befriend, I guess, them, and not be, you're such a bad spirit type of people. So what they would do is they would pour milk on the grave sites or leave treats like cakes on the grave sites of the dead, to, I guess, have a mutual good understanding with them. I don't know. I'm not a pagan. But years later, passed down, the Christians and the Catholic Church became a big thing, right? And especially, in the U.S., early times when the people in Europe came over to the U.S., well, let me rewind this a little bit back. Before they came to the U.S., they had May 13th, one of the popes. They were celebrating All Saints Day on May 13th. That was the Christian holiday to celebrate all the saints that passed away, all the saints that, the big saints, and all the saints. So what they wanted to do, they saw the pagans doing this, and they saw the Celts doing the celebration at the Sam, and they wanted to stop, the celebration, because it kind of goes against what the Bible belief of when you die, you go to either hell or you go to either heaven. So they want to put a stop to that. They want everybody to do Christianity, and they want everybody converted to Christianity. So what they did was they had changed the May 13th holiday to October 31st holiday, which is, the Celts holiday and the pagan holiday of the of the Sam. So guess who named this holiday Halloween? It was not the Celts, and it was not the pagans. It was the Catholic Church. They named it Halloween. They start to celebrate kind of the same way. All they did was change their name to a Christian-like name. They still, allow them to celebrate the way they celebrate and worship the way they want to worship. Unfortunately, the Catholic Church got involved into that too, and they just changed the name of it, and they changed a couple of things about it. And their goal was to change what the pagans and the Celts were doing to Christianity. So there's like, well, we'll just wean them into it, let them do what they're doing, but we're going to switch things gradually into Christianity and get them into it. Unfortunately, it kind of backfired a little bit. A lot of Christians decided to bring in a lot of pagan teachings into the church, and it still goes on today. I don't know if y'all ever noticed this, but you just gotta watch out what church you go to. Just saying. So there was a couple of names that Halloween was before it officially came Halloween. Let's see. It was also called All Hallows. It was also called All Hallow Mass, which means Mass. All Saints Day, basically. That's what All Hallows Mass means. And then it was, I got it written down on here. Well, that was the night before, and that's what else it was called. The church. And then the traditional night Sam in the Celts region, they began to call it All Hallows Eve, and then they eventually turned into Halloween. So those are all the different names that Halloween was before it became Halloween, which just means to try to get all saints to be all saints, I guess, and try to shy people away from pagan religion and to Christianity. I don't think a lot of churches know that, but yeah, that's the origins. It's been 10 minutes, so I'm gonna let you go. Leave your comments below. Oh, before I let you go, I want to show I want to say a few fun facts about Halloween. Did you know before we were carving into pumpkins, we was carving into tulips instead? The first things to carve a jack-o'-lantern into was a tulip.
A tulip.
It didn't even become a pumpkin until about the Civil War times. And trick-or-treating is fairly new. It's about 80 years old. It's not that old at all. I did not know that. And actually it was invented by adolescents and by teenagers that just want to trick everybody around the neighborhood and around the country and raise hell until they got treats. So bad kids. And then also the scare about poison candy. Don't be scared about poison candy. That was made up by the killer himself. He poisoned his son, and then he blamed it on somebody giving his son poison candy. Why? His son was the only one that was poisoned by candy in the history of poison candy. And they've caught on to this because if it was someone giving out poison candy, it would be more dead children, right? So they caught on to it and they found out that he was the one that poisoned the candy. So stop freaking out about poison candy. Although people are crazy and people like to hear stories like that and they would like to copycat. So still be alarmed about where you go and what you do. Still watch out and be safe. Bye y'all. Happy Halloween. Mwah.